A man who raped a toddler decades ago, leaving his victim psychologically scarred, has walked free from court. John Mason, 51, was aged between 14 and 16 when he sexually abused a little boy in Liverpool in the early 1980s. The dad of it admitted a historic offense of indecent assault, which today would be classed as oral rape, carrying a maximum life sentence. But offenders must be punished under the law at the time the crimes were committed. In the early 80s, the maximum sentence for the same offense was just 3 months behind bars. John Mason, 51, was spared jail after admitting raping a toddler in the 1980s. Image Liverpool Echo Judge Dennis Watson, QC, said he also had to give Mason credit for his guilty plea, suggesting that if he was imprisoned, he would spend just weeks behind bars, the Liverpool Echo reported. The judge said there would be no real purpose imposing such a sentence, which he called ridiculously short. Instead, Mason was handed a 3-year community order and told him to sign on the sex offenders register for 5 years. Judge Watson said when dealing with non-recent offences, no sentence can be passed on an offender which is greater than could be passed had you been dealt with at the time. The maximum sentence I can pass on you is one of 3 months in prison. Liverpool Crown Court heard that when the victim was a teenager, Mason confessed his crime, but the victim did not go to the police. Mason, who now lives in Aberdeenshire in Scotland, was eventually found out when the victim's mother contacted the police in 2010, claiming he was a danger to children. Another complaint was made to police in 2015, which led to Mason being interviewed in 2016 and in February this year, but he offered no comment when questioned. Mason appeared at Liverpool Crown Court. Image Liverpool Echo. The victim told the court that during the offence, Mason took off both their clothes and said, "I'll do it to you and you do it to me." Robert Dudley, prosecuting, said he was left scared and confused and suffered nightmares and bedwetting. Ahead of a trip to Scotland, the victim told his girlfriend he had been orally raped. He suffered from depression and later also disclosed to his GP that he had been molested as a child. He was referred for counselling and told the counsellor how he had been left frightened and ashamed. Liverpool Crown Court heard that Mason told an ex-wife in 1995 that he had forced his young victim to perform oral sex on him. Nicholas Walker, defending, said Mason was deeply sorry and urged the judge to spare him jail, given the short amount of time he would spend in prison. He said there is only one victim in this case, but it is evident from everything the court has read that this single incident in the 1980s still haunts both men. Judge Watson said although Mason had committed a grave offence which has had a lasting impact, he believed the 51-year-old was racked with remorse.